There's no customer service anymore in any businesses. I mean, if you go to Shake Shack, you got a kiosk. Any other restaurant, you got a kiosk, So the biggest thing to separate yourself in the brokerage industry is your level of customer service.
So in North Carolina, it doesn't mean I agree with it, but this is just how it is because of multiple offer situations. You put in your purchase price, your due diligence money, and your earnest money.
Correct.
Due
so
diligence,
there's two different types of monies you put down.
So we still have a lot of demand, but the interest rates have scared people because during COVID, during that time, they were like in the 3s. Oh. And now they've in the 6s, sometimes the 7. However, the issue is the overall purchase price is still trending upward.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show, your go-to for real estate, business, health, and family insight. I'm Chris Salerno, CEO of QC Capital. Each episode, we explore the latest trends and expert advice from industry leaders. Whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, or seeking balance, this show provides an inspiration you need. Join us and elevate your game on the Chris Salerno Show. Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show. I am your host, Chris Salerno. Very excited to have you back on another podcast. I have Sherri here who's going to give us a wealth of knowledge about the residential market, the luxury market, and how she got to where she's at today. So Sherri, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Most definitely. I want to talk about where your journey led you to where you're at today. So let's rewind that tape all the way back and talk to us about it.
Okay. Well, I was living in upstate New York, and I moved down here in 2006 after my master's degree in social work. Worked 3 years out in the field as a social worker, and then transitioned.
What made you want to do that?
I love to help people.
That's a tough job, too.
It's very tough. But I got into it to help people. I always loved helping people. But prior to that, I was a 2-year major in art. So I wanted to get into interior decorating, interior design.
All right. So you already had that taste of interior design, real estate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then got into social work somehow and moved down here. Worked in the hospital for about 15 years. Got burnt out real quick.
15 years in the hospital.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like I said, I loved helping people. I was a social worker for a spinal cord unit for a while.
Oh.
And then did brain injury and stroke.
So you saw, you saw it all.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw it all, but I mean, I loved what I did, but I kept getting left alone with like 40 patients all the time.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And it was exhausting and draining. And I'm like, listen, you see too much. You realize how short life truly is.
Now, were you working those like 12 or like 7 days on, 7 days off type hours or 24-hour shifts?
Nope. Monday through Friday. But I mean, I was there 8 a.m. and sometimes I wouldn't leave till 7, but I was salary. Like I didn't get paid.
Plus you had to probably do paperwork and things like that, after you see after patients. So really that starts to grow. You're working 13-hour shifts.
Yes.
Wow.
And at the time, I was still bartending because, I mean, you don't make good money.
You were doing that on top of bartending? Wow. That's a lot of work.
Yes. I've been working since I was like 12.
You are a hard worker. Very much so. Very much so. So moved here in 2006, right before the crash. I moved to Charlotte in 2007. So right before the crash. Talk to us about that. What brought you down here?
Well, my brother moved here.
Okay.
He initially moved to Boca Raton, Florida. Loved it there, but then him and his business partner moved here because they had to keep evacuating because of the weather.
Oh, yeah.
They had a friend here. They ended up staying here. I just came to visit because I was planning on moving to New York City or Boston.
All right.
Came to visit. I love the weather. And I'm like, my God, I can afford to live here on my own and the sun comes out every day because where I'm from, the sun does not come out. And you get like 8 feet of snow all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't think I was going to stay. I moved. I didn't like it at first because it was very...
Southern?
Yeah. It was a big change, a big shift.
It's slower paced than New York, too.
Extremely slow. Like I would put in a job application, I wouldn't hear back for months.
Oh, yeah. And that's with you following up probably 20 times.
And I would go in person. They're like, no, you have to go do it online.
I know. They all push that.
That's not what I'm used to.
Oh, yeah. It's a very slow pace there.
Very. And to be honest, I mean, it's gotten better now, but I swear I get road rage in the grocery store. It's like, move over.
I love it.
So I moved. I loved it. I lived with my brother initially in Cornelius and then went on my own and loved it. But again, did social work.
Yeah.
Bartended. Thank God I got into real estate.
And what year was that?
So 2019.
2019. Okay.
So I haven't been in it very long.
Yeah.
Loved it, but was working at the hospital full time and doing that.
Ooh, that's a lot.
There really is no such thing as doing it on the side.
You can't. No.
There is no such thing because everybody that I worked with in real estate, they didn't know that I worked full time.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
Interesting. I got into residential real estate at right there in December of 2014 going into 2015. That's when I got into residential real estate. I took a different approach. I went, you're straight luxury. You do phenomenal homes, and we're going to touch on that. I took a rapid approach of, okay, how many homes I'm going to have the quality, or excuse me, the quantity out of all of these homes on a monthly basis. How many can I do? Because, Charlotte's not a high price point, and you have to be very niche like yourself, extremely knowledgeable, where you can walk in a home, the cabinetry, the baseboards, like you are very knowledgeable at that. And definitely different times then. And when I first got in, I was like, yeah, you can't do this part-time. And I did it full-time. I jumped in, let my jobs go, and I said, okay, I'm going to do this full-time. And then I realized when people were doing it part-time, I'm like, you really can't do that.
You can't excel.
No, not at all. Not at all. So then you realized that, and you said, okay,
well,
one has to give.
I couldn't do both. I mean, I was not planning on staying at social work. This was my out. I'm like, life's too short. I've got to change my life. This is what I've always wanted to do. I'm just going to jump in. So for 2 years, I did both.
Oh, 2 years.
For
Holy
2 years,
cow.
I did both. So I would leave the hospital, literally change in my car while driving to go show homes all night, every night of the week, and all weekend long. I had no life.
You had no sleep because you still would have to do patients' paperwork and things like that.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sure you're seeing patients back to back.
Absolutely.
And then you go home and you're going to have to do patients' paperwork, and update notes and things like that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So you would change in your car. Yeah.
I didn't care.
You weren't thinking of it. You were just go. And that's your personality.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So, but I loved it. That's why I didn't care so much, because I loved it so much. So, saved up enough money, finally left the hospital, and I've never been happier.
I love that.
I just jumped in, and even now, I mean, I still work 24/7, but I don't care because I love it.
You enjoy it. You don't even think about it. It's just something you do. And that's the same way I am when it comes to QC Capital and the private equity industries. You just go.
Yeah.
Like there's no stopping. So getting into it, let's talk about COVID a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, you are very, very knowledgeable in the luxury market, especially here in Charlotte and Charlotte's MSA. How is the luxury market impacted during COVID, or the real estate industry here in Charlotte impacted during COVID?
So during COVID, everybody was moving here by like flocks of people.
Yeah.
Because people were told they had to stay at home.
Yeah.
And if you live in New York, you're really like, you can't, I mean,
You're the size of this room, basically.
I can't even imagine, like all
on
my
top
friends,
of each other.
Yeah, all my friends that lived there, they all left during COVID.
Oh yeah.
None of them. If I was to go there now to visit, I would have to go find somewhere else to stay, which is fine, but like they were always living in Manhattan, the Upper East Side. They all left during COVID.
COVID changed New York.
Everything.
It changed everything, and it especially changed New York. I don't care to go back to New York. I go back probably about once a month for business, but literally I'm in and out. And if I can do it in one day, I'll do it in one day, because you can just feel the vibe. The vibe of New York has changed substantially after COVID.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. The amount of homelessness went up.
Oh my God.
People can't afford anything. I mean, the whole life changed.
Yeah, and the whole energy has changed. I love Chicago. I've been to Chicago. Chicago is my new favorite city up north. But yeah, New York, just totally different vibe.
So 99% of my clients are New York and California.
Really? I think the big thing is during that COVID, I traveled out to the Myrtle Beach area, which is our coast. For those who don't know us, we really have Charleston, Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, and traveled out there. You could not get a hotel room. They were 100% booked.
Yep.
And I'd go in and we finally found a hotel room in Myrtle's Inlet, South Myrtle Beach, and went in there, and we people at the pool, and we're like, hey, where are you guys from? New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, all up north. Everyone was down there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, when you're told you can't leave your place, so now it completely changed everything. I was selling homes via FaceTime, like left and right.
Really?
But I had a really earn their trust because I always try to put myself in someone else's shoes. You're moving here from out of state. You haven't stepped foot in this house.
Correct.
I've got to learn what you want because
And talk to us about that. You and me, we connect. You got to learn very quickly my taste, what I like, what I don't like. And all over FaceTime or Zoom. And then if you can, if the owner will let you, go in and walk through their house to make sure it's what I want.
Yep.
How, that personality to understand that so quickly, like how'd you adopt that? I think some people have it, some people don't.
Yeah,
And
I
I think you have it. You definitely have it, is that understanding of someone's personality very quickly.
Absolutely. Because, think about it. That's kind of like what I was doing before.
Yeah, you were.
You listen to people, you hear what they're saying, and then you go find it. That's what they're telling me, I'm listening. A lot of people don't listen to people.
No, they don't. If I want a blue car, I want a blue car. If I want this type of model, and that's what I want. Don't pull me a black car with a different type of model. Yeah. It's simple, but it's also difficult.
It is difficult, but I also have to remind my clients, okay, you told me this was a deal breaker, and now we're looking over here in left field. You got to, and so I have to reel people in a lot.
I remember we had a conversation about that, and it was one client, and they, were trying to see house after house, and you're like, hey, this is not what we discussed on our initial meeting. Do you see that happening a lot because of residential market's so much feelings based? Yeah,
it's such an emotional purchase for a lot of people.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I'm glad I have the background I do because I think it makes me obviously who I am today. So I have to kind of reel people in, but at the same time, during the process, sometimes people change what they want.
Oh my God, yeah, and which is understandable.
Yeah.
We do as well. That's human. But I think it's super important to reel people in, especially as a business owner and operating your own business. I remember, and I do it all the time in our business. I remember when I was a residential broker on the Lake Wiley, which is a lot cheaper than Lake Norman. A gentleman wanted to see, it was like 40 houses, and I was like, look. No, you pick 5. I'll go show you 5. And he's like, I want to see all 40. I'm like, are you going to buy all 40? No, you're not. I'm not here to show you all 40 houses. And I let him go. And I don't know if he bought a house or not, but I had to make that decision at that time as a business to go ahead and let him go because it wasn't worth my time and focus on something else. And I'm sure you get that a lot.
Yeah, well, and I've gotten better at not having to work with everybody because in the beginning, I wanted to work with anybody and everybody.
And everyone does when you first start your business. It's like, okay, give me. I'll work with anyone, everyone. I'll do all the open houses. I remember my first year, I did over 75 open houses because I had no business. Like, that's how I knew how to get business. And I was like, gimme. And then once you build up, then you can say, okay, I want that. And you can be more picky.
Yeah, you could be more selective.
Yeah.
Before I used to work with everybody, now I'm thinking, okay, we have to see what our goals are in the beginning. And if we don't align, we don't need to work together.
And it's okay to have those conversations. It's okay to have those type of conversations. I think those are very difficult conversations that a lot of people have. And especially when you are a business starting out, it's even more difficult because you're probably looking at the revenue that you need to make to pay your bills and you just want everything. But I think if you build that foundation inside as a leader and as a company, you'll be able to grow a large organization. And then your referrals are going to be based off of what you grew.
And, everything's relationships.
100%.
So I have made a lot of great relationships with a lot of other realtors. And like during COVID, if there were people moving here and they're not seeing anything online and I'm not either, well, I'm leveraging all those relationships because I'm going to try to find that something off market. And I do a bunch of my transactions off market.
Do you? Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because think about it. You're telling me you want A, B, and C. It doesn't exist.
No.
Okay, well, I've got all these builder relationships. I try to talk to the builders. A lot of times they'll call me like, listen, Sherri, we've got this, and this coming. Do you got anybody?
You have great builders in your back pocket, like Grandfather Homes, Arcadia. Those are some big top-name luxury builders here in Charlotte.
Yeah, they are. We have a lot of great luxury builders here.
Oh, it has skyrocketed. From what I've noticed, you know a lot more about it than I do, but from what I've seen, it's skyrocketed where there's some boutique luxury builders that actually do great quality work here. Wow.
There's a lot of them. Actually, it's one of my favorite things to do is new construction because you get to help people custom build their home to their liking.
Yeah.
They usually think it's very stressful, which it can be, but my job is to kind of take that stress off of them.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I always say when I dealt with individuals and they were trying to do more custom is, look, be prepared. If you sell, it may last a little longer on the market because a lot of people may not like your taste, you know, and vice versa. They may love it and it'll fly off the market.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's definitely a hand-holding process, especially when you're going through that design and that building. Talk to us, so I saw this happen. I would love to hear it from your perspective. When all of those New Yorkers and Yankees started coming down, your people started coming down, they realized how cheap real estate was down here. So they would say, okay, yeah, I'll pay $100,000 over ask. I'd all cash, close in a couple weeks. And over here, we're like, oh my God, did that really just transact for that amount? Talk to us about what you saw like during that time frame.
Well, people were, first off, they were desperate because they were wanting to get out of the other states.
They felt locked up in a cage.
And so they came down here, and during that time, we had very low inventory. So, AKA high demand, low inventory, homes were flying off the market during the coming soon phase. Yeah. So before they even hit the market. So now you're not getting one offer per house. You're getting, you could be getting an average of 10 offers on a house.
There was a video that went viral, and I think it was in Raleigh or North Charlotte, and it was literally cars with agents and their clients down the road, a line wrapped around.
One of those agents.
Yeah, wrapped around just for showings. Before it even went like live, like the broker said it's going live at 5 p.m., wrapped around the road.
That was fun. I remember that.
It was fun?
I remember waiting in line and wanting to get out of my car, get out of the car. You're standing social distancing from each other. And then as soon as the other person came out, you got to go in.
Unbelievable.
It was insane.
Unbelievable. They came down, obviously said, look at these prices. They're dirt cheap. Taxes are dirt cheap. Cost of living's dirt cheap. So we're paying cash over ask. When you have 40 or 60 offers, talk to us about how you advise your clients to say, hey, and this is for the Charlotte market. It may pertain to other markets, but I'm, talking Charlotte market. How do you really advise your clients to say, look, to be the most competitive offer, this is what we need to do? I know when I was a broker, there's a couple things I did was, hey, write a sob story letter. Tell them about your family. Tell them about how you're moving here, your kids, because it's going to connect. Like, talk to us about some of the, like, maybe wildest things you've done to really win offers.
Oh, well, I always call the agent ahead of time before I even go to the showing, because even if I have a link idea that they're going to like this house.
And you know that because you have good relationships with them. You've already vetted them. You've talked to them. You know what they like. So you know that going into it, okay, they're probably good. It's a 99% chance they're going to go after it.
Usually I do know, honestly, I usually know when the house is their house and they want to go see these other homes, fine, I'll take you to those first. Yeah. Because if I take you to the one that I know you're going to want, I'm not taking it to you first.
Oh, you shouldn't. No, you should take it to it last. That was our rule of thumb too.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll bring them to the other ones they want to see, take it to this. They're going to love this one. Call the agent before I even go. Establish that relationship if I don't know that person.
Yep.
We go to the home. Oh, my God, they love it. Well, here's the thing. We're not allowed to do love letters anymore.
Is that... See, I'm out of the game, so I don't broker real estate, and I haven't for a while.
Because there's too many.
There's no love letters now.
Not now. There was.
Interesting.
Write a letter, and then, heck, I'm going to write my little love letter, too, when I send my email.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I call the agent, talk to my people. As far as the offer goes, if they see a line of people, they're motivated too. So
correct, they know.
And I already try to make sure that they're pre-approved and ready to rock and roll before we go.
Yeah.
So we don't offer asking. I see how much my clients can do, because honestly, some people can only do so much.
Correct. Yeah. You don't want to max out your clients, and you want to show them, hey, depending on the level of their financial situation, is like, look, we can go 20,000 above, but you got to be prepared for this bill.
Yeah. And you got to be prepared, and I have to educate them and prepare them. Do you know what due diligence is? Because a lot of states are not a due diligence state, and we are.
North Carolina is,
which is non-refundable money. So
talk to us a little bit about that.
So in North Carolina, it doesn't mean I agree with it, but this is just how it is because of multiple offer situations. You put in your purchase price, your due diligence money, and your earnest money.
Correct. So there's two different type of monies you put down.
And now you only write these checks or wire money if your offer is accepted. So if your offer is accepted within 24 hours, you're giving them due diligence money, which is non-refundable money.
Automatically, right when it, boom.
Earnest money goes to the attorney's office. Due diligence goes directly to the seller. You don't get it back. You never get it back.
See, and I remember that when I was a broker,
Yeah.
commercial, totally different. It's just earnest money. Boom, you have an inspection period. If things go wrong, if the PSA says you get it back, you get it back. If not, you're going to have to argue and battle it out.
Yeah.
But totally different in North Carolina.
Yeah, because of these multiple offer situations, as a seller, if you've got 10, 20 offers, how are you going to know what to choose? So you don't just go with the highest purchase price.
You go with the more money on the table and the due diligence, because that's non-refundable to the buyer, and the seller in their eyes is, hey, if they back out, I got 20 or 30 grand.
Absolutely.
What was the highest due diligence you've put down? Or your clients have put down?
1.5 million.
1.5 million.
And that was last year. And that wasn't even during COVID.
What was the purchase price of the house?
3.3.
Wow. I mean, that's almost half.
Day zero on the market. Like literally the first day on the market wasn't even on the market 24 hours.
1.5 million due diligence. Boom. Here you go.
Yep, cash. Here you go.
If I back out, I'm out.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
But they weren't backing out.
Oh, no. Not if you're putting that much money.
And no, they weren't backing out. It was new construction. It was with a reputable builder. Location they wanted. They had, you know why? Because they had already lost a house.
Oh, so they were like, I'm done. I'm tired of this. Here's my money. Let's get it done.
Yep.
And that instinct, which is very difficult to control sometimes when you lose out on something or when you want it right now. And I was talking to Stephanie about this is, there's something we're doing and I want it right now, but I need to have that patience. Because when you have that type of feeling, a lot of mistakes can happen.
Absolutely.
And that's all of residential brokerage. And I know you and I talked about it plenty of times, is the residential brokers is 100% feelings, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I mean, there was no taking them back. Like, we were in the kitchen of this other house and they fell in love with it in Myers Park. And it was same thing, day one on the market. And we were discussing what we were going to offer. But I was like, you know what? This market's crazy. This was last year around the same time. I said, let me reach out to the agent. Let her know we're putting in an offer. She immediately calls me. She goes, I'm sorry, we just accepted one. I'm like, it's been on the market a few hours. So that burned them.
And they were like, I'm done with this.
So when we found this one, they're like, nope, we're not even going to worry about that.
Here's 1.5.
Here's our money. We're taking it off the market. We're done.
Wow. So preparing those contracts in the state of North Carolina, you want high due diligence.
Yeah.
Those are non-refundable going into it. Earnest money, obviously, if things don't work out during that due diligence phase,
you get the earnest back.
Got it.
But not after the due diligence period.
So after the due diligence in the state of North Carolina, once it's after, you are done.
No money back.
So definitely a lot of risk there, especially the price point. You're talking a plus $1 million in this market. And Charlotte's a very growing market, even still. I know for apartment units, we have over 15,000 apartment units that have and came online this year. I know we're not finished with this year, but 15,000 units that are coming online. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
There's some apartment complexes I looked at, you're talking $5,000-$6,000 a month for rent.
That's a great
and for Charlotte, that's a lot. I know my buddy's paying $13,000 a month out in California, and that's fine because that's normal. Here, $6K is a lot of money for rent.
It is a lot of money. I would personally never pay that towards someone else's mortgage.
You can get a mansion here for $6K.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's why people are moving here.
Oh, the cost of living is so cheap. So go ahead.
I was saying it's changed though. Like, we have 36% more inventory this time of year than we did last year.
Why is that? Do you think because
Interest rates.
I was going to say, it's all a feelings thing. So do you think that because people hear interest rates may go down, they're like, okay, I want to buy? Because normally they'd want to wait till they start dropping. What's enticing them to do that?
Here's the issue. People are not stopping moving here. We're not living where I'm from. People are not picking up their bags and moving to upstate New York.
No.
Moving here.
Especially with all the politics that we've seen on social media. People are like, look, I'm done with this. I've never heard, I've heard of one person saying they're moving out to California. Everyone I speak to in California, they say they want to get out. The only reason why they're there is because of something like very large personally that they have to stay there. Other than that, majority of them want to move out of California. They want to move out from up north because of how much control they're trying to have.
Yes.
We won't dive too much into politics.
But yes, it has a lot to do with it. But so people are not stopping moving here. They're moving to Florida, Texas, and here, and maybe some other places. So we still have a lot of demand, but the interest rates have scared people because during COVID, during that time, they were like in the 3s. And now they've in the 6s, sometimes the 7. However, The issue is the overall purchase price is still trending upwards. You see some, they're going to go up and down a little.
Correct. Yeah. If you look at it at a smaller scale, it'll go up and down. But overall, the past 12 months, they're still trending up.
So I always tell everybody, listen, if you can buy now, buy as soon as you can, whenever that is. Because right now you can still not, it's a weird market. Some homes are still flying off. The average days on market is 30, 40 to 60.
Okay.
So I would say average days maybe 30. So you could still potentially get a home under asking price. Whereas when the interest rates do drop,
you're not even. It's going to be like COVID right after COVID. You're not even going to have to.
Yep, you're going to have an influx of buyers again. Over asking price.
Oh, so most definitely. And I remember that when I was a broker, even when the tad drop of interest rates happened, people ran to it. Yep. And then now, and we talked about this before, I don't believe we're going to have an interest rate drop this year.
No.
I definitely think it's probably going to be next year, probably middle of next year. Yeah. We really need to understand what's going on with this inflation. And I was having dinner last night with an investor of ours and a very successful individual. And I told him, I said, he said he was paying like $8 for a Starbucks medium coffee in another city. And I said, well, if you go to Atlantic City, they'll charge you $11 for a medium coffee. And I said, there comes to a point when you and I both know we could afford it. However, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. Where it's like, we just don't want to afford it because it's just the principles of it just being too high in cost. Mm-hmm. It doesn't register properly, and we're just like, no, we're not going to do it because we feel like we're getting screwed over. Yeah. And I think we haven't gotten to that point just yet, but I think we are getting really to that point where everyone's like, holy cow, one bag of groceries, $80 for 5 items. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, I'm not going to buy this because this is ridiculous unless unless it's a necessity. That's what I'm seeing in the market. And so you're right. Once those rates start to drop, buyers are going to run and flock for these homes, and then you're going to be left with not even finding a home and a home that you can't get now.
And you're going to be paying way over asking.
And plus, I mean, why don't you buy a home right now and then refinance in a year? When rates drop, just refinance in a year. Now, don't refinance to cash out, in my opinion, because you're going to over leverage yourself. You're going to take too much out, and you're not going to be in a good position. In my opinion, I would say cash out, refinance to whatever the interest rates are, and keep it the same. Make sure you don't have to put any money down to refinance, which you wouldn't, but don't go and cash out $100,000 out of your property. You're going to over leverage yourself. Absolutely. But yeah, I think you're 100% right. Once those rates start to drop, there's going to be a huge influx of people coming.
Yep. So get a house while you can, and you can get it under asking and then refi, like you said.
Why do you think the price is going up still? My conversation last night with the investor, we were talking about grocery prices going up. I mean, Starbucks cups of coffee is going up. I mean, I don't know how much more it's going to go up until I'm just like, okay, like I can pay for it, but I just don't want to. Like, this is ridiculous.
Why do I think they're going up? I still think we're just a really high demand area.
Yeah.
I do. And people are paying it.
It's wild.
People are paying it. So if you live in a neighborhood, someone paid way over asking for a house, guess what? That just brought the value up of your home.
Oh, 100%.
And all the other homes. And then guess what? Then it's a domino effect.
Boom. And there's nothing to really stop it unless buyers say, hey, we're not doing it. We're not paying that price. And, then you're going to see homes sit a lot longer on the market. You're going to then see maybe one offer in 90 days. And then you're going to have conversations with your seller saying, hey, it's time to reduce the price. And instead of reduce the price of today's market, we need to reduce the price of what it may look like in 30 days so we sell this. Because if not, then it's going to be a domino effect where you're going to see a bunch of price reductions.
Yeah. Well, and I try to educate my sellers before we even hit the market. Listen, this is what the average home price per square foot in this area are going for. You don't want to price it at the max. You don't want to price it at the bottom, but maybe right under the average or right at average. Yeah. Sometimes they listen to me, and sometimes they don't. So I can advise you the best I can.
Even though you're the expert, sometimes they're like, I'm doing it myself.
We want to try it this way. Okay, great. Let the market talk to you. And lo and behold, here we are. We're having this conversation again.
Because you do this full time. You eat, sleep, and breathe it, like you said. Yep. And so your clients have a lot of trust in you, and so you're getting them to get the deal. Once they get the deal, walk us through that process, of what you're doing with those clients, especially your high net worth clients, because those are different clients than someone who's buying a $200,000, $300,000 house. Someone who's buying a $2 to $3 million house, totally different client.
It's a full concierge service, basically. So everything and anything. I hold their hand through everything. It depends on the client too. You have to read your client. Do they want more details? So basically I hold their hand through everything. You go under contract, then we have our home inspections. Every home inspection, even on a new construction, is going to be 60 to 80 pages long. I prepare them that in the beginning, buyers and sellers. Homes are sold as is in North Carolina, so sellers are not obligated. However, they really should. Everything is reasonable.
Correct. Like if you lived in the home for a couple years, like you need to take care of it.
Absolutely.
Like, and if you don't take care of your home, that's on you. So expect another buyer who gets a inspection to tear your home apart, essentially.
Yeah. So you try to set everybody up being realistic for good expectations, whether they listen to you or not. But basically, I help them with everything. If you're a seller, even before we go on the market, I'll say, listen, this is what your cabinets look like. They're this old brown color that nobody wants.
Yeah. No one wants the brown and brown.
No.
I mean, we talked about it. You helped me multiple times look at a couple places, and I told you, hey, like that's what I have now, and I don't want it. I'm done. I'm fed up with it. You know, I want the white on white.
So I'll tell my sellers, listen, you could sell it as is. This is probably what's going to happen. It's going to sit too long. You're not going to get the offers you want. But if you want this home to sell quickly and for top dollar, this is what you should do.
XYZ.
Yep.
Get
And
it
I'll
done.
call. I said, listen, I got contractors. I'll call them right now. I was in a listing appointment the other day. Called my guy. He came over within the hour.
Wow.
Gave them an estimate. Had their home done, fully painted, interior, exterior, the kitchen, everything. We're going to go live in about 2 weeks. It's stunning now. It's going to sell quick.
And that is the concierge service that you offer.
Absolutely.
And that's why, in my opinion, even when I was a broker, it doesn't make sense to sell your own home. It doesn't make sense to go list your own home, even for a flat fee, because the concierge type of service, which customer service is out the door. There's no customer service anymore in any businesses. I mean, if you go to Shake Shack, you got a kiosk. Any other restaurant, you got a kiosk, you know. So the biggest thing to separate yourself in the brokerage industry is your level of customer service. And the level of customer service is you made a phone call, someone came within the hour. Within a couple weeks, everything's done. Now it's listing, and then when they get that offer, full ask or above, you're going to be able to say and have them, you know, give a testimony on how well that went.
Absolutely. And again, it's relationships. I got relationships with all these vendors, all these painters and everything. So they want my business.
Oh, 100%.
They know I'm going to give them business.
And they know that you're, you know, the type of price point that your average price point when you sell a house, they know what that is. And that's substantial, you know, and they have to do great quality work at that
Absolutely.
average.
I don't want them to just slap a coat of paint on it. You can see the drip lines. Like I'm a perfectionist. I want it. It's my name. It's my brand. I want it to be a certain way.
Oh, most definitely.
You know, so.
And that's how you build stronger referral base. And this business, any business, our business as well with investors, it's mainly about referrals. Yeah. Building a very strong referral base will help you build a very strong foundation of your business substantially.
So anyways, I do try to hold their hand through everything, inspections, appraisals, everything. When the appraiser comes to my listing, I'm bringing him a binder of these are how I came up with this price. This is all the comps in the neighborhood. This is what justifies A, B, and
Here you
C.
go.
You know what I
Do
mean?
your job.
And with my luxury listings, depending on the seller, but I like to be there and do the showing. And a lot of agents don't do that anymore.
Really? Interesting.
And I think it's just a level because I'll make appointments now I had one yesterday with another seller. I'm going to get another house is going to go on the market in Carmel area.
Yeah, which is a very, very nice area in Charlotte.
Very nice, modern home. I'm like, listen, I'm coming over Tuesday at 2. You're going to tell me everything I need to know about this house because I want it to be as if it's my house.
Correct.
They're going to come. I'm going to tell the agent and their buyers everything they need to know about this house. What agent, especially a buyer's agent, who's been showing 12 homes that day, they're going to research the crap out of this property. They're not.
No, they're not. And then you are registered in the seller's home, you know, with the sellers, that level of customer service and concierge service you offer. Do you think they'll remember that?
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%. They're going to remember that level of customer service, that white glove service, that when they even go buy another house, or, you know, something down the road, they're going to remember your name and how detailed you were. So that whole process in the state of North Carolina can take, 30, 35 days? With some of your larger clients, a little less maybe?
So, you mean, once you go under contract, it's usually like 30 days, unless someone has to sell a home, contingent on a sale of a home. But from the buy-sell process, 30 days. Yeah. But, I mean, now if I've got a buyer coming in from out of state, they're not sure what they want, what location, what area, that's going to take longer.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, you know, your attention to detail.
Yeah.
When you talk about these luxury homes, that attention to detail in these homes it's very important. And the quality, the type, you know, we're not putting IKEA furniture in these homes. We're putting restoration hardware and some other name brands I probably don't even know of. walk us through that level of education that you had to educate yourself on getting into this type of niche real estate industry where the tile, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just educate myself. So I'm in my car a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm in
Your
my
car is your office.
It is my office. So I know this sounds stupid, but I listen to like YouTube videos, like what's the difference between Calcutta marble and this marble, and I'll just educate myself. I went to, in the very beginning, and I think that's probably why I got into luxury so quickly, is I just forced myself to learn everything. I would go to a warehouse. They're like, oh, it's not open to the public. I'm like, it's okay. I'll just, whatever. I'll get in my way. Some way I'll get in. And it's just a warehouse.
That's a drive that you have.
Yeah.
You don't even think of that. You're like, I'm going to get it done.
Whatever.
I love it.
I'm like, no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. So I'll go into a warehouse full and slabs of marble, quartzite, like and I just learn. I educate myself.
Where does it come from? How do you guys cut it? What's it, all that.
Yeah,
time frame.
Exactly. Like it's Carrara marble, or Calcutta marble out of the mountains of Sicily. People don't know this.
Ooh, really?
The reason they're so expensive is because they're very rare, they're hard to find, and the way they cut it is with a diamond laser beam cut. And it's very high end, and that's why it's so expensive. So when I'm in someone's home and they've got Calcutta marble, I explain everything about it. Like, I know the difference between these cabinets and those. Like, you've got to know your product.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, it's you love what you do, when it comes to it. And so you really study through YouTube, through connections, through actually physically going to these warehouses, cabinetry, I'm sure as well, to really understand where you guys getting it from, all the ins and outs. So you can speak at a very high level when you walk into a kitchen and what type of marble that is. And the seller's like, wow, how'd you know that?
Yeah. And, I try to get more involved with all my clients that are custom building. I like to go to their design meetings with the builder and just see what their options are, just to help guide them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they don't know.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, if I went to, I've been to design studios before, but, two white, marble and, another different type of marble from a different part of the country, I'm not going to know what marble's which and where it came from. I'm just going to say it looks good.
Yeah, so I like to help people redesign their kitchens, just getting it ready to sell. If they have a European home, or a Tudor home, those are more warm colors, and they want to kind of bring it up to date. Okay, you can't do white. Maybe let's do a soft, creamy white, kind of flow together. You got to make things function and work, and you want it to go, and you want people, when buyers come in, you want them to be able to see themselves living there.
Yeah, most definitely. So. Talk to us about the most challenging transaction you've had. I know we talked about it before.
Yeah.
I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Just a quick reminder to make sure you never miss an episode. Stay connected with us by following us on social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok at Chris_Salerno_. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube to catch the video versions of our episode. You'll get exclusive content, behind-the-scenes footage, and much more. Head over to YouTube, Chris_Salerno now, and hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned because we've got more great content coming right after this.
I guess it was a very high-end transaction. Mm-hmm. We went under contract on a $6.5 million home, and I represented the buyers, and the sellers accepted the offer, and they knew it was contingent on me selling my buyer's home. However, I couldn't have asked for a better home to sell. It was not a hard sale. When I say that, it's because it was in a very affluent area that everybody wants to be in. It was a new construction home. It had a primary suite and a guest suite on the main level, which everybody wants because everybody's bringing mom and dad with them now too, and they want to be together but separate. It had all the bells and whistles. However, if anybody knows the Charlotte market, it goes kind of up and down. So during, right now, we're kind of going from spring market to summer. So spring market, it's hot. It's right after January. You start February, March. Mm-hmm. Spring market's hot. Then kids get out of school, it goes down a little because now everybody's on vacation. Then right before kids go to school, it goes up again. Then it goes right back down when kids go into school. And then down right before the holidays. And then once you hit the holidays, it's done until spring market. Well, this was right before Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
So I've got that against me. Whatever. I did everything I could. We had, for this time of year, a record high showings on this property.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was there. I knew everything about the property. I knew it in and out. I knew everything down to the installation. and showed it. We've had people circling it and circling it and circling it, and people wanting to offer, but they had to go look at other homes just to be sure.
Yeah.
And we were so close to selling it. We weren't even 20 days on the market. And we had more showings than anybody did in that area at that time.
Wow.
The sellers decided to take a different offer that was cash, and because it worked better for them,
Yeah.
because it wasn't as risky as ours, and they took it. And then I lost out on selling that $6 million and the one that I had. So about $10 million in sales.
Holy cow. And if you're getting 3% of that, that's $300,000
Yeah. Well, yeah.
as a
Maybe
commission.
more.
Yeah. Or maybe
Yeah, a
more,
little more.
excluding
Whatever,
taxes.
Regardless. And the risky thing is, I put almost $10,000 into selling this house.
So you're upfronting a lot of money.
Out of my pocket.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that when
No.
you and we're going to talk about really breaking into that luxury market. You're doing it with that knowledge, but a lot of people don't understand it. It's a whole different ballgame, and you got to upfront a lot of money for marketing, for sometimes staging, all of that. Brokers open to really sell these homes.
Yeah.
So you upfronted a lot of money, which you didn't get back.
No, I lost it. I lost that. And plus now, remember, I'm also there at every showing. So much
So you lost a lot of time.
Yes. So basically, the marketing materials, like even getting the brochures, because again, I want the best of the best. And these brochures, they were like $800 just to get produced. And my photos were like $2,500, everything. Because I want top of the line everything, I risk a lot of money. But of course, you hope to sell that home, and in return, you're going to make it. It's not going to matter.
Yeah.
But now I got clients for life. So
There you go.
you got to look at the big picture.
You have to.
It hurt at the time, but it's like you grow a thick skin in this world.
Most definitely.
Especially with real estate, you have to, otherwise you're done.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, and you have to do that in any business. I take a lot of investor calls during the day, and some investors are like, "Well, you own the company. Why are you on the call? Why are you on these calls?" And I enjoy it. I love raising capital. And then I have some that says, "Oh my God, you own the company. I'm honored to talk to you." And it's like a catch-22.
Yeah.
So no matter what you do in life, people are not going to like it.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult. So you have to have the thick skin, especially in
to.
today's society. Breaking into that luxury market, you've talked about really gaining the knowledge, going to these warehouses, understanding in depth on the construction side. Talk to me other ways breaking into it, because it's very difficult to go into a $2 to $3 million home, get a listing, go out and sell it. It sounds easy, but it's difficult even getting your foot in that door to convince them that you are the one to do that.
Yep. It's very hard. And I'm definitely not tooting my horn by any means, but most people it takes like 10, 15 years to get into the luxury market.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about connecting with people and knowing your product. Like you can't just be nice and get along. Like you have to back behind everything you say.
Yeah.
And being very detailed. Like I'll go to my listing appointments and I already have a I already send them a digital listing presentation that I spend hours working on.
So they know what you're going to come to the table with.
Yeah, they
right
know.
when you come to that door.
And I have a very detailed timeline, almost like an itinerary, where if you were going to go on a vacation somewhere, you've got a full itinerary of everything. And that's what I do for these listings.
Wow.
And I just try to go above and beyond. And they can call anybody I've ever worked with, and they're going to get a good recommendation or a good referral.
And do you put those testimonies or those referrals in?
I do, but then I'll also be like, listen, if this is not enough, I've got like 50 more I can send you.
Oh,
I'm
most
happy to
definitely.
help. Like, here you go.
And that's huge. When you're selling $1, $2, $3 million homes, they're good. I would assume that they're doing very thorough due diligence on who's going to list it. In some cases, some other cases, the owners are too busy and they're like, look, just get it sold.
Well, I
call
was
it a day.
actually just in one the other day, and I was up against, I want to say 6 or 7 top producers.
Really? Did they bunch them up and one by one?
I only knew because they were calling somebody I knew because of the listing to try to get their information. Long story short, I knew because of my relationships.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, come on, oh gosh, how am I going to get this? How am I going to get this?
Mm-hmm.
And I just prepared myself, and I went in there and connected with them, told them everything I would do, and then just, also, I'm going to work my butt off for you.
Most definitely.
And this is what I'm going to do, and I have to stand out in a different way. And they signed literally this morning before I came here.
I love it. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
One of the big things about listings is that it's an interview. You are interviewing on a daily basis, 10 times a day if you have 10 listing appointments. When you go in there, they know they want to sell their house majority of the time. And the biggest thing is building that relationship with them. You only have really less than an hour. In some cases, maybe 2 hours, depending on the size of the home. Maybe you're there for 3 or 4 hours. It all depends on the home and the individuals. How have you found very effective ways to build that relationship and that bond so quickly? Because this is a feelings business. So quickly, and then say, okay, we're going to switch things to business. This is how, we're going to sell your house. But you have to build that relationship with them in that bond before you can convince them that you are the person to sell.
I don't want to say I don't know, but I think it's because of my background and because I've spent all these years as a social worker listening to people, helping them solve their problems and coming up with an action plan to do so. And when I do that, like I said, a lot of these people, they just want to be heard. So regardless of their situation, whether it's divorce or whatever, I'm listening to them. I'm here for them. But then again, this is what I think. Okay, I know I'm up against 50 whatever realtors, but this is what's different from me. Now, okay, you listen to me. This is my advice I'm going to give you. Listen to me or not, this is my advice.
Yeah, and you're going in with knowledge, substantial knowledge on everything, all the way down to the tile, the granite, quartz, anything, whatever they have in their house. You're going substantial knowledge on how their home was built, and I'm sure you're doing very thorough research on the builder and everything of that property, how long they've owned it, and then from there. They like that market knowledge. That market knowledge is huge. When you are saying, hey, 4 houses down, your neighbor sold their house. They had this, this, and this, in their kitchen. That's what's going to separate you guys from that listing, things like that. Yeah. So you're walking in with market knowledge, and then you're basically bringing that New York out of Indians and being direct. Like this is what we offer here.
Yeah. And, I listen to, okay, what is important to you?
Yeah. Do you need to sell right now? Like, are you on a time crunch?
Yeah.
Is it price? Is it, timing? Where are you guys moving to? Things like that.
Where are you going from here? Oh, you need, and so actually I'm glad you just said it. You just reminded me because these other people, they're like, oh, well, we're going to Seattle. That's where
cool.
our family is.
Good.
Okay, great. I have a realtor I'm going to connect you with in Seattle.
Yep.
So let's talk about that first because you can't leave here until you get that done.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So everything... People need to understand. Some people, there's a lot of people out there that just want to make a sale and go. Yeah. And done. Once you work with me, like I'm literally in your life for the rest of your life. Like I get
100%.
invited to weddings, baptisms, anniversaries, everything.
Yeah. No, I mean, we met at a client event, and I think it's super important to build those relationships and very strongly because that's what brings you referrals. I mean, what we do is with our investors, every time we close a deal, we have an investor gift. So we send out investor gifts that are personalized to them, no QC Capital stuff. It's personalized to them, investor gifts. And then on top of that, when we have new opportunities, our investors get to see first look at it before we send it out to everyone else. So it kind of creates that exclusivity where they feel that they're taken care of. They're in a private group, and it's a way to build a very strong referral foundation, which I think people need to have.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't stay in touch.
Oh, they don't. The follow-up's the biggest thing.
Yes.
When I was...
It built my business.
Oh, my God. My number one investor who I had dinner with last night, when I was a residential broker, I called him every 2 weeks for 8 months when I was a residential broker. He ended up picking up and he says, I apologize. I'm a CEO of a very large company. I just, I'm traveling all the time, but I have $2 million. I want to buy rental houses in Charlotte. I said, cool. He trusted me with everything, even to the point where he was in Bangladesh and he had to go to the U.S. Embassy to get notary documents for him to mail overnight over here so we can close on properties. And he would close them sight unseen because he has that level of trust.
Absolutely.
Like you talked about during COVID, those clients had that level of trust with you and your knowledge. And then they turn into long-lasting partners and clients.
They do. And I think you kind of have to prove yourself to them too. Like, I know you said like, oh, you only have an hour to do it. What do you do? But I think a lot of it takes time.
It does.
Like I know there's even clients right now that I already can tell they're finally starting to trust me. I'm like, geez, finally. Like,
I know, right?
I'm not. I have your best interest at the top of my mind. I promise you.
Yeah.
I'm not in it to make a quick dollar. I'm in it for the rest of my life. I'm in it for the relationships. I'm not in it to say I need a paycheck and move on.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And it's super important to build that level of trust very quickly, and in some cases it's hard, with people that have bad past experiences, if they put a house on the market with an agent, the agent does poorly, doesn't, sell it, they're going to come to you and say, hey, so-and-so did this and did not sell my house. What are you going to do compared to him? And they're going to it's going to harder to earn that trust with them because they've already had a bad experience.
And even with like my buyers, sometimes, I shouldn't do this, but sometimes I'll send them like emails at like midnight of homes like, oh, I think you might like this one or this one. And they're like, God, she's still up doing this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care. I'm trying to find them a nice house. So I think they finally just start to trust me over time.
Yeah, most definitely. No, I think that's super important, and they see how aware you are and how engaged you are. And that right there builds that trust.
Yeah.
No, I love that. So breaking into the luxury market, really understanding it at a very high level, you feel the Charlotte market still has some room to keep growing, huh? With the price point.
I do.
Really? I think it's going to be steroids when the interest rates start to drop, because you're going to have a bunch of buyers coming in, and I think that's going to increase the price even more than what it is.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of big businesses here, so people are moving here. There's a lot of jobs. So yeah, that, the quality, the builders that we have are amazing. The land, even just the dirt is going up because in Charlotte,
we talked about a gated neighborhood in Waxhaw, which is South Charlotte, and you said the land, which was like a quarter of an acre, was going for how much?
Oh gosh, $1 million.
Which is a quarter of an acre, just the dirt. Which is wild. Now you're spending $1 million just for the dirt. Hopefully you have utilities ran to that site, and then you have to build. You're probably going to build a $3 million, $4 million home. All of that, you're hoping to get $7 to $8 million out of it. When all's said and done after a couple of years of living in it.
Yeah, and that's in the outskirts. Like now, imagine that in Charlotte. Like
oh my God, yeah.
Neighborhoods like Myers Park, Foxcroft. The gated communities we've got in Charlotte, Seven Eagles, Moorcroft Estates.
And you're seeing more gated communities pop up, especially down south of Charlotte in the Waxhaw, Marvin area.
Yes. There's more. There's one being developed right now, Sage at Marvin. But in Charlotte, I've got people I'm currently working with, and they only want to be in gated. Well, guess what? There's nothing left.
You just limit it to less.
Well, you've limited it, which actually makes my job easier. But guess what?
It's harder.
We went and looked at one last night. I'm like, this is the cheapest one in Seven Eagles. It's 2.9.
Cheapest.
The cheapest. It's 2.9. So we're really only looking at the land, which is 0.86 acres. So you're basically going to pay $3 million for the land. Now, don't forget, they're
going to bulldoze that, and that's going to cost probably $500,000 to bulldoze that size of home, $600,000,
and then build.
And that's not including permits.
People are doing it.
That's not including permits, time frame. That's going to take you a year to just get 8 months to a year just to get the permit to bulldoze. The permits are backed up. I know for the commercial side. I don't know how for residential, but it's going to take you a while, and people are doing it just to build, huh?
Oh yeah, because they want
that area.
Location. They want the gated community.
Location. Super important. Holy cow.
People in Myers Park are buying homes for like $1 million plus, demoing them, building. All the builders are doing it.
Unbelievable. And for those that don't know, Myers Park's an older neighborhood here in Charlotte. Very beautiful area, close to the city of Charlotte. But very, very older neighborhood. And you're seeing a lot of people actually knock down these older homes and building duplexes. And these duplexes are going for $1 million to $2 million each.
So yes, they are. And in fact, I'm going to do one real soon.
Okay, are you?
Yep. I have a developer I've been working with. We're trying to get engineering approved as we speak.
You didn't tell me this.
Yeah. And I helped him develop the floor plan. I'm like, listen, this is what buyers want. They tell me every day, please listen to me.
And it's so smart for the developer to partner with you because you are extremely knowledgeable. You know Charlotte like the back of your hand. And you can say, hey, look, we can't develop it like this. Like, we need it this type of layout. We need this on this floor, this on this floor. Like, this is what we need to really be attractive and to get top dollar.
Yeah, like I know they wanted the bedroom, the primary upstairs. I was like, no. I'm like, listen, some people, they don't care. I'm like, but 90% of people that I've worked with, they want the primary bedroom on the main level.
Yep.
What a great thing is have a huge walk-in closet, have the laundry attached, and then an additional laundry upstairs.
100%.
This is what's important. Like the open floor plan with the kitchen, the large island. people want indoor, outdoor. Save those. I know it sounds stupid, but like keep those trees. People want green.
Yeah, they do. No, you're spot on.
So that's what we're working on.
I'm
It's gonna be
excited for it.
exciting.
That's very exciting. How many units is that?
It's
a duplex?
Yep.
Love
They
it.
want to say duet. Yes, a duet. And it'll be 2 luxury townhomes basically right on Providence Road.
Oh, very nice. I mean, that is what I'm seeing across the board is individual and developers are building and knocking down these lots or knocking down these homes, having vacant lots, and they're building duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, anything like that. And they're selling for crazy money.
Yeah, we'll probably price them in high 1s, low 2s. And it's going to be amazing.
High 1s, low 2s for it.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
location.
Unbelievable.
Because it's going to feel like the point is, let's just do the 2, make them feel like single. Because people that live in that area, they don't want to feel like they're in a townhouse. They want to feel like they're in a single family home.
Correct. They're secluded. Yeah.
But they don't want the maintenance.
Correct. And I think that's why you're seeing so much of this development of duplexes, 10 units, in a row or side by side, you name it. But they want the townhouse lifestyle where they don't have the maintenance.
Yeah.
People don't have time for maintenance anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people out there that love to cut their grass. But a lot of people these days, they do not want the maintenance. They want to come and go as they please with no headaches.
And it's to even go further, people don't want to cut their own grass. They're replacing grass with turf.
Oh yeah, and turf is expensive.
It's not
Holy
cheap.
cow! We bought a car wash a couple weeks ago, and we got a turf quote. Now the size of the turf is like 2 of these offices, so it's not a lot. And they wanted $75,000 for turf. I was like, "Are
Doesn't
you
even
kidding
shock
me?"
me.
I was like, "No, we're not doing that. $75,000 for turf." I was like, "That is," and it was a very small space, so I couldn't even imagine. It would be probably $200,000 or more to have a turf full backyard.
My one clients just actually did their entire, they put in a pool and then put on all this turf, and I'm not even going to ask. And there's all different levels of turf. Now you've animal-friendly turf.
Oh,
You've
I
got
know.
all
There's
different-
some that are actually like real, like it looks and feels real. You don't even know it's turf
It's
these
nice.
days. It's because people don't want the maintenance. People want to come and go as they please because life is so busy. I mean, we talked about it. Your office is your car. You are go, 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 go. And, that's what people are these days as well. They're always on the go. They don't have time to deal with a headache. Oh, the lawn company didn't show up today. Now, they don't have time for that. And so with you being on the go, 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 and I know how passionate and driven you are in business, talk to us about, a little bit of time management. How do you save some time for, personal self to do some personal development stuff?
I should do more, but I don't. I need to start taking more vacations, but I definitely try to get my workouts in.
Yeah, that's super important.
Yeah, if not every day, every other. I try at least during the week.
Yeah.
Get those out of the way first thing in the morning. I love spending time with my family, so I'm always up. My brother and his family are up at the lake, so I'm up there all the time.
Love that.
I try to get together with my friends all the time, and a lot of them are in the same business.
So it's nice.
So it's easy, it's nice. Like I have another event tonight in Mooresville, then I'll go to my brother's or, whatever. I definitely need to take a vacation because the last time I did was September last year, and before that it was 6 years.
Wow.
So,
Unbelievable.
but thankfully I finally got myself a great assistant
Love
to
that.
allow me to do that. So now I'm not worried when I leave. I have got someone running the game for me.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Talk to us about that mindset. You are driven to a whole nother level, and I love that. And I think when we first met, that's what really attracted us in the room is that mindset, that that energy that you have. Talk to us about your working out because you have to stay healthy to operate at such a high level. What is your eating arrangements? Are you meal prepping? Are you? I mean, I know you're always going. So for me personally, when I go out to eat, I eat healthy. Like I want a salad, grilled chicken. Like I don't order fried food. Like none of that.
None of that for me either. I used to meal prep.
Yeah.
And now I just don't because I used to meal prep on Sunday nights, right? It was my meal prep. But and now I'm working all night, like literally.
Yeah,
when everybody else is having fun on the weekends, I'm busting my hump because that's when people are looking at homes mostly.
Oh, most definitely.
But honestly, I'm at the grocery store a lot in between clients because I only eat like fresh foods. Like I'll only have like chicken and vegetables and fruit.
And they don't last long.
No, so I'm at the grocery store like 3 times a week.
So I have a bad habit of going to the grocery store and getting food and then cooking, like say I get 3 steaks and I cook 1 steak. And then before you know it, I get so busy during the day and 3 weeks go by and I'm like, oh, I still have that steak and I need to throw the steak out now because, and so I found, okay, it makes sense for me to find local places around town that are very, very healthy. And there's actually an app I found about seed oil that will show up restaurants that don't use seed oil in their food. And so going around town knowing very healthy spots where I can run in and pay $15, I get a salad with grilled chicken, or $20 because it happens every time I go to the store to buy something, I end up leaving it in the refrigerator and then all of a sudden I don't use it. And then, I'll put it in the freezer, but it'll stay in the freezer for a year because I'm so busy.
I'm the same way. I don't even know why I have a freezer because it's useless.
Yeah.
I have stuff in there that I forget about and 2 years later I'm like, oh, I don't think this is good anymore.
Oh, most definitely.
But yeah, I try to, like, if I get chicken, I'll try to cook it all because I've done the same thing. I'll try to cook it all, separate it. I guess I do kind of meal prep at times when I have time.
Yeah. No, most definitely. And I think for busy individuals like yourself and myself, we have to find ways that copes with our time management and our schedules because meal prepping takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
If you're always in your car, how are you going to keep everything fresh with the heat, and everything like that? So, it's super important to find out what's best for us in our schedules to make sure we operate at a very high level.
And I try not to eat out a lot because even if you eat healthy, it's loaded with salt
It
and
is,
all
I
that stuff. And
know.
I'm chugging water for days because I can tell. But if I do eat out, I'm getting fish, usually like salmon or in vegetables or sushi. Even with the sushi, you got the rice. I don't know. I try to be as healthy as I can. I allow like 1 cheat day a week. And
See,
sometimes I don't even want it.
I'm a sucker for pizza. I like a nice, good quality
I haven't found
pizza.
any good places here.
Oh, I will tell you. Okay, so there's a place down in Ballantyne. I'll give it to you after this. They have their second restaurant is in Lower Manhattan. So it is authentic
What's it called?
Italian pizza. It's like Lorenzo. Okay. It's called Lorenzo. I'll give you the information. That's my new pizza place. And my son and I will always go there. Their pasta is amazing, but their pizza tastes just like New York. And the only other location they have is in Lower Manhattan.
That's good to know. I'll have to try it because I'll be honest, because I'm kind of like food snot when it comes to Italian.
You're like Dave when it comes to pizza. What's that guy's name? Dave Portnoy. Portnoy. You're like Dave. He's Italian. He knows pizza. I
don't even go out for Italian food here because
I don't blame you.
Please forgive me, but I just don't think it's good.
Yeah.
I go home and I'm like, okay, this is real Italian food. And funny because when I went to Italy, I took my mother to Italy in September last year.
Oh, I love that.
It was the best vacation I've ever had. In my entire
love
life.
Italy.
It's my favorite place.
I'm actually learning Italian now. So when I work out, I have Italian on my phone. Yeah. I'm Italian as well. And then I have a book coming today to understand Italian better.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm going to read the book. But when I work out now, I have YouTube going on, and it gives me like the basic, 100, I guess 100 words you would normally say, like hello, how are you, things like that, all in Italian. So when I work out, I reiterate it in my head.
See, that's nice. So when I'm in my car, I'll listen to a YouTube.
Yeah.
It's teaching me like how to say the vowels. Or like if you can learn the vowels, you can learn the language.
Anything. Yeah. That's super important.
Anyways, but so we went to Italy and the food is so good where I'm from in New York.
It blew it out of the water, huh?
Well, no, we were both like, okay, is this better than Cafe Canal?
You're comparing it.
Not the only time, but where the food was really good in Italy was the off the beaten path. Like
The true Italian places. I 100% second that. When I was in Italy, you have to go to the outskirts of the tourist area to really get that authentic Italian food.
Because I'll be honest, no matter where I go on vacation, I don't like to go to touristy areas because
I don't
so
blame
commercialized.
You. No, that's the first thing I do when I get in an Uber or I check into the hotel and I ask the front desk, hey, look, like, can you give me like the rundown on where like the locals go? Like, I want to get away from the tourist area. Yep. Where do the locals hang out?
And then that's when the food's real good.
Most definitely. Yep. Most definitely. I actually bought these earbuds that translate in 144 different languages. So when you go into Italy or wherever you go, you can change it on your iPhone and it will translate in 144 different languages so you can help or you can better understand them.
That's cool.
Yeah, when you talk to them. But yeah, I'll give you that restaurant. What is in the future for you? What it's a hot market still. Yeah. We all anticipate Charlotte still being a hot market. What's in the future for you?
Oh gosh.
I know.
I just want to continue to become a better version of myself with everything, no matter what it is. Like no one else is my competition but me. And I do want to get more and more into developments like luxury builds, like do more of these luxury townhomes. I'm doing actually another one. It's not luxury, but I'm doing another project in Biddleville, Smallville. Biddleville, Smallwood. It's a transitioning neighborhood. It's an up and coming, and we're building 4 townhomes.
Okay.
But they're going to be modern. They're going to have like the floating staircases, all that stuff. So that'll be, the framing just went up. They'll be hopefully completed by September. I like doing projects.
So you think you're going to lean towards more of the development?
Yeah, I want to.
Sherri the developer now?
I don't know. Maybe. You know what? Why not? I don't know. I mean, I would love to.
You have the taste. You know what people want. You have the relationships that you've built.
It's so much more fun than just opening a door. I mean, anybody can open a door.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I said that when I was a broker. Key open, have a nice day. You know, it's really hard to sell. Hey, this is a bedroom.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the kitchen, the living room. This is where you'll eat dinner. You know, where a developer, I feel like it's going to come from your interior design skills, where you want to be more hands on. You really want to get after it.
It's fun, and I mean, I already know what everybody wants. Like, really, I mean. They change to, depending on where that person is in their life. Yeah. Because some people, like I said, they want the primary and the main because their kids are all grown and they want the separation. Or if you're a young family, a lot of those families want their primary on the second floor because they want to be close to their kids.
Most definitely.
But so if I know a certain population in a certain location, I already know what they want. So I do like doing projects. Those are way more fun to me.
They are. Definitely a lot of. It's more challenging too, and I think that's why I think that's why you like it, is because you like that challenge and you're good at it. You're phenomenal at it, and I think that's why you really enjoy that more hands-on development side of things. I can see you down in City Hall, advocating for a rezoning for a townhouse.
Why not? Why not? I'd like to get, do different things. Otherwise, it gets
boring.
Yeah.
It gets boring after a while, just sitting there, doing the same thing over and over. And that's one reason why I fell in love with brokeraging real estate, because when I got into brokeraging real estate, and most of the people were stay-at-home housewives, and they did it part-time. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this full-time, and I'm going to outwork everybody. And that's what I did. I did it full-time. I outworked everybody. And then I realized that, okay, it's not the same thing over and over. There's different houses. Very rarely you'll go to the same house. Now, unless you have a tract builder like True Homes, all those guys, and they're cookie cutter houses. Other than that, you're not going to go to the same house. It's going to be all different.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot better. Plus, you're out and about. You're driving compared to sitting behind a cubicle and, typing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I could never do that. That's why I could never work at one of the, like a model home. Like, I can't do it. There's no way.
No, because you're selling the same type of home. You're selling the same type of style, because that's what they have. They have 5 different choices, and you say, hey, here are the 5, out of True Homes or Ryan Homes, and that's what you get to pick. Whereas your luxury builders like Arcadia, Grandfather Homes, you have that to probably a different extent, but if you want something, they're going to do it for you. You're paying the price.
And to kind of circle back, since COVID, everybody wants to be able to function at home, right?
Yeah.
So you're seeing home offices, you're seeing exercise rooms. Because people, God forbid, we have another pandemic, right? Whatever.
Knock on wood. I mean, they say they say one's coming. Plus, we have an election this year.
Yeah.
So be careful. Everyone be careful.
Yeah. So if that happens, people want to be able to live their life from home.
Oh, 100%.
So even yesterday, I was showing a $2.5 million home. It was perfect, except it needs one more bedroom or one more office because they both have to be able to work from home.
And they work from home.
They do.
See, that's the big thing, is that a lot of people work from home. We're looking to transition, move into our own physical office space, like I was telling you, and I'm negotiating the lease. And the price per square foot in Charlotte is anywhere from $33 to $49 per square foot. And I'm like,
that's insane.
This is ridiculous. Like, why would someone want to pay these type of prices? Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. But I hate showing those homes. And I'm sorry, at 2.5, you should get what you want, right?
100%.
So that's why I'm like, why can't I work with a developer to develop this?
Yeah.
I want to be able to work. I'm so sick of hearing people say this is perfect, and it's just like, I want to make those homes for people.
Yeah. And I think it helps because developers don't think like that.
They don't.
Because developers are not helping buyer agents. They're not going to listing appointments. Developers are developers. And don't get me wrong, I love my developers out there. I know a bunch of them, but developers are developers, and there's been correct.
Yeah.
And there's been plenty of times developers will develop something and you and I would go into a house and be like, why did they do that? Like what was the reasoning behind them doing this? Like with doors and with, angles. It's like, why would they do that? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
They were just trying to make them quick, fast, and couldn't find any workers.
100%. So they cut corners, with certain developers. Other ones, like Arcadia Grandfather Homes are phenomenal. It goes down to the detail. I follow them on Instagram and they do phenomenal work. But most of them do try to cut corners to save money, especially when COVID, when all the pricing went up. With lumber and labor, all of that. So, yes, a lot are going to cut corners. And then it's, it comes down to someone who knows the product and the product.
Absolutely.
So why doesn't it make sense to have Sherri the developer? It's coming. I know it is. You're going to get your taste with these duplexes and you're like, okay. And then you're gonna grow. You're gonna do a duplex community of maybe 10 or 12. Then before you know it, we're gonna have you on in a couple years, and you're gonna be doing 20 to 50 duplexes in one community.
What I really want to do is a 55 and older community, but I want to make it where people want to be there, like Sun City. We don't have it. We don't have one here. We've got the Palisades.
We don't. We have a lot of apartment complexes being developed that are 55 and older, but it's
not the same.
No, I think they still want the townhouses. They want that feel of it.
I would like to develop. I wish I could find a developer to work with me. I mean, someone's going to need some really deep pockets for this. Like a community where, there's single family homes. They can choose from, I don't know, let's say 3 different options.
Correct.
Everything's basically first floor. And they get to kind of customize it here and there. And there's some communities like this, but not really. Yeah. They're more cookie cutter.
Oh, very much so.
I want these to be a little more custom because I'm sorry, 55 and up, they're going to want, a lot of them are cash buyers.
They are.
They're going to want what they want, but I want to make it like a resort. Like there's 100%. A golf course. There's a clubhouse. Yeah. There's just almost like a long view, but for 55 and older.
Yep. And you don't have to leave.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are wanting. I mean, the apartment complex I was telling you about earlier here in Ballantyne, they have everything. They have a masseuse on a Saturday.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you go onto the app and you book a masseuse so you can get a massage on a Saturday. You go down to the lobby, they have a private masseuse room.
Yeah.
Why would I want a house where I have to cut the grass? I don't on a Saturday. I want to go down, get a free coffee, and then go get a massage.
Like there's a need because like even in Mooresville, there's maybe 2 or 3 communities, and they're selling. They started off in the 300s. Now they're selling for 700. We almost got one 2 years ago at like 4 something, and now it's reselling at 7 something because there's such a demand.
Unbelievable.
We need it.
I think it's going to grow even more because you have the population getting older and older. And I think it's going to grow substantially. And as everyone goes on about their life with technology, we all want it right now, and we don't want the hassle to interrupt our days.
And a lot of young generations moved here, and now their parents are coming.
Oh, 100%. Because Charlotte is a beautiful place to live.
It is.
I mean,
got the lakes.
Yeah, I mean, we rank like top 5 on every single ranking. Now, I think every city like ranks their own, they juice their stuff up. Yeah. But, every time I see something, because I live in Charlotte, we're top 5 on like every single national ranking when it comes to it, because it's a beautiful place to raise a family, beautiful place to live. I love it.
I love it too.
I love it. Well, Sherri, thanks so much for joining us. You gave us a wealth of knowledge on the luxury market, Charlotte, where things are going. Looking forward to having you back on here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chris Salerno Show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insight to help you along your journey. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to cover, feel free to reach out directly to me. Shoot me a message on Instagram at Chris_Salerno_. Until next time, keep pushing forward and stay inspired.